Welcome to my next video as part of my 30 videos in 30 days challenge. And in today's video, we're going to talk about being more aware of attachment and what attachment is doing to us in our everyday living. In the great words of Buddha, the root of sorrow is attachment. And the uprooting of sorrow is getting rid of attachment. And what this means is that when we are consumed by the things that we want, the things that we need to come into our lives, come in make us feel better, and when those things don't come or they don't happen in the ways that we envision, it causes sadness, depression. The root of depression is desire. To get rid of depression is to get rid of the desire, or be more aware of what it is and being able to observe it, instead of letting your mind and body be identified by it. Now, when we are trying to create relationships with other people, or we are envisioning things coming into our lives, we put a lot of dependency on those people and things for us to feel great. And when those things would end up coming in and changing our lives, that when you're living in that state of things never being enough, being consumed by attachment, when that thing will be granted to you and that thrill be fulfilled, you move on to the next thing, because that attachment was just an illusion. That person making you feel like you're attractive is an illusion. That if they were to come in and make you feel like you're an attractive person, that then everything would be all right. The world is okay. I can now feel safety. That this person is now giving me the validation that I want. And then when you end up in a relationship with them, you discover it's not what you really wanted. And that's not what happiness is. Those are things from the outside of you that have created desire and attachment, that we are programmed to think we need in order to feel happiness, to feel inner peace. Happiness is right here and now. Happiness is in the body. Happiness is being more aware of the love that you feel in your heart center, and that nothing from outside of you can intercept or make you feel in lower energetic frequencies. At least when you get on a certain level, you don't allow them to do that anymore. You can look at it in the ways of awareness and elevated states of consciousness, that those things and people are not required for my inner peace. Those things and people from outside of me are not required for me to feel happiness inside. And with desire, there are two types of desire. One of the desires is something that you want, but it's okay if I don't get that thing. You can move on from it. It doesn't create a blockage. It doesn't create a suppressed subconscious memory. Like saying you wanted a bag of chips from the grocery store, but they didn't have the flavor you want. Well, that's okay. You move on with your life and you do something different. You get a different snack, a healthier snack, like Greek yogurt or something. And the second type of desire is you want that thing, but I am no longer whole or complete or feel great about myself without that thing. And if that thing doesn't come in, I am miserable. If that thing that I want doesn't come in and give me what I want, when I try to manipulate the world and that thing, I feel depressed. I feel lack. That thing is not giving me what I want. I am no longer good. I am no longer safe. I am no longer a good person because of what this other person or this thought has created in your mind. And that has created the state of energy of desire. And when that desire didn't come and you were not able to deal with it properly and let it go, like that bag of chips you didn't want, it creates a suppression. And that thing that you wanted from that person that you were physically attracted to, when they didn't give you what you wanted, you felt lack. You felt not good enough. You felt not attractive enough. So what can I do to make that person like me? So how can I change my looks or the way I communicate with them to make that person like me? That is a form of manipulation. Now you're trying to manipulate the outer world to give you what you want, to feel whole and complete. When really that whole and completeness lives within. And you become more aware that those thoughts and feelings do not create who you are. Those thoughts and feelings of those people you desired that rejected you or made you feel inadequate or you're not good enough to go on a date with them, those create suppressed emotions. And every time something similar happens to you in the present moment, from when those rejections and those suppressed emotions happened in the past, it gets repressed. And it creates the person that you are today that is never feeling in safety, never feeling in positive, elevated emotions, and can share it regardless of how the others treat us. That person don't like you when you're living through awareness. That's okay. That person rejected you, you went up to talk to them at the bar. That's okay. You went and applied for that job and thought it would have been a good career change, but you're not extremely attached to it. That's okay. You go to the grocery store and you really desired sour cream and bacon Ruffles chips. They didn't have the chips, I'm sorry to say. That's okay as well. See, these are all things that we store subconsciously, and it creates who we are, and then we identify with those life moments. And that anytime anything in a public place or a new relationship happens to replicate some of those memories, it brings up all of that bottled up stuff because you didn't let it to flow through you and behind you. You didn't let it flow through your body and behind you like that bag of chips you didn't want. You let it flow within you. You didn't like the feeling or the reaction that towards that person you were extremely attracted to, and you put all of your marbles into. That this person's gonna like me. This person's gonna date me. This person's gonna validate me. I'm finally gonna feel like an attractive person. I'm finally a good person in physical shape because this person who's in great shape as well can now validate me. It's all up here. It's the mind. It's playing games with you. And when you can be aware that that's just the mind, you're not going to be able to shut those thoughts off completely. And you don't turn off desire, but you learn to look at them through the glasses of awareness. And we are awareness. We are elevated states of consciousness that can deal with anything that gets thrown at us. And like the bag of chips you didn't want, that hot chick that you're physically attracted to has a great body. It chats with you a little bit, but makes you feel like garbage. That's now okay. You don't need them because there's another chick with a great body that's not in your life yet that you will attract. because of the person you have become, that is not living through attachment, that is not living in depression because of the desire that keeps coming up, the desire energetic field that you keep on living in. You move on from it and you become someone who is neutral and is okay either way in any situation in life. Whether it's a thing you want, an opportunity you want, a person you want. Wants are okay. We are attracted to things. We are human beings. We are going to be attracted to things and people that we want to come in. But when you become someone who's neutral, you no longer need it. You no longer need it. You become okay for being you. You take your power back within your body. You learn to be safe in any situation. And then you can take chances on yourself. Is it uncomfortable to hit on someone that you think may not like you back? That's stepping into the uncomfortable. Is it uncomfortable to quit your job and to become a full-time video creator? That's uncomfortable, but it's a chance you got to take on yourself to try to move past the old autopilot way of thinking and being. It's living in what? In awareness, being more aware. And in knowing that those triggers, they don't define you anymore. And that the more that you don't try to battle them, the less that you give power to them. Depression, the more that you try to fight depression, the worse that it gets. The more that you fight depression, the worse that it gets. Because you're resisting it. You're creating a resistance with that depression towards what you are desiring. Where do all conflicts come from? Attachment. Where does all grief come from? Attachments. Where does all depression and feeling in lack and scarcity come from? Attachment. Learn to have a better relationship with the mind and knowing you're going to desire things and become non-attached. You can still take chances on yourself and try to achieve things, but become non-attached. And it's not becoming detached, because detached is, I'm the only one who exists. And in this state, it's not about becoming ego-driven or self-centered, because we still care about others. They just can't control the way we feel anymore. So we care about others, but how they view us or judge us, like us or don't like us, no longer controls us anymore. So you're kind to others just for the sake of being kind. And you have taken the power back within. And you share that kindness, you give the value, you teach others. If you're somebody who makes videos, make podcasts about what you want. Help others, but do not be defined or identify with the judgment or the things that don't work out, and stay away from being attached to any particular result with it. So I thank you for watching this one today, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you on the next one.